Do you know that the secret to a thick, silky, creamy Greek chicken and rice soup is thickening with eggs? Wait, so you don't use flour to thicken? Nope. Or a cornstarch or slurry to thicken? No. Not even pureeing potatoes to thicken? No, it's literally just eggs. This is Avgolemono soup, the most famous Greek soup that translates to egg lemon. It's a healthy, rich soup consisting of chicken, broth, vegetables, and of course, eggs and lemon. And in this video, I'm gonna show you a step-by-step guide to mastering it, including the trickiest part, tempering the eggs to thicken the soup. Which, trust me, once you learn how to thicken eggs with soup, it's the only way you're gonna wanna have soup. Now for this recipe, you're gonna need 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Make sure you season with salt before you start cooking so you get all the flavors in there. Then you will need 1 onion diced, 2 carrots diced, 2 celery ribs diced, 5 garlic cloves minced or more, you can never have too much garlic, 6 cups of chicken stock, a bay leaf, and 3 sprigs of thyme, 1/2 cup of jasmine rice, 5 egg yolks or 3 whole eggs. The reason I personally like just the yolks is because it gives a silkier texture and more richer flavor, but totally up to you. Then of course, 1.5 lemons juice. Don't even think about using that jarred lemon juice. It's gross. Now, start off in a large pot over medium heat. Once warmed, add your oil, and once that is hot, pour in the onions, carrots, and celery and saute until translucent. Make sure to salt as you go. I never say how much salt to add in this recipe because it totally depends on your taste and also how salty your stock is. Once the vegetables are cooked through, usually about 5 to 8 minutes, add the garlic and saute for another 1 to 2 minutes until fragrant. From there, pour in the chicken stock, bay leaf, thyme, and bring it up to a simmer. Make sure to season with salt and pepper to taste, then add the chicken and top with a lid. Cook like this for 15 minutes at a simmer, which means it's barely bubbling to cook the chicken. Then, after the 15 minutes, stir in the rice and cook for another 15 minutes. Now, I like to add the chicken first to give it more time to cook because as chicken thighs simmer, they become more shreddy, and I really like it to be super shreddy, like a melt in your mouth kind of chicken. So simmer it with a lid on for another 15 minutes. Once that time is up, remove the chicken and try with 2 forks. Stir the chicken back in, and at this point, the rice should be fully cooked through so we're ready to temper the eggs to thicken the soup. Now, this is the trickiest part of the recipe, so take it slowly and carefully. We are going to temper the eggs into the soup, which means basically we're just going to be slowly bringing the eggs up past 160 degrees so they don't scramble. If you add the eggs directly into the simmering soup all at once, you're just gonna get an egg drop soup, which is not exactly what we're going for here. Here's the example. If you try to pour the eggs right into simmering liquid, it's just gonna scramble and be a mess. So instead, in a bowl, whisk together the eggs and the lemon juice until it's smooth. Then with a ladle, slowly add the simmering soup, ladle by ladle, into the egg mixture while you're whisking. By adding a little bit of the hot liquid to the eggs, we are slowly cooking the eggs without scrambling them, keeping them silky smooth. Now, how many ladles do you need to add? When do you know it's done? You will know when the internal temperature reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So make sure to keep temping it with a thermometer. 160 means the eggs are cooked and properly tempered, and they're not going to scramble when you add it to the whole soup. So now you can pour the mixture back into the pot and watch it thicken before your eyes as you stir it together. I absolutely love this method of thickening a soup because it results in a silky, smooth, creamy soup that has a delicious umami richness that has you wanting more, and more. Turn off the heat and then, of course, finish by tasting and adjusting the seasoning as needed, like adding more lemon juice or salt. Now, of course, there's always some things that can go wrong when you're making the Avgolemono soup, so here are some troubleshooting tips that may help you out. If the rice gets too soft, don't worry. Avgolemono is actually kind of supposed to have overcooked rice. That's just the way it's traditionally served, so embrace it. Now, what if you don't have jasmine rice? That is totally okay. Any white rice will work in this recipe. Basmati, arborio, sushi rice. Just know that a shorter grain rice like arborio will make the soup thicker because it has more starchiness. So the texture might change a little bit. What if, oh shit, I tempered the eggs incorrectly and now it's a scrambled mess? Well, there is no reversing in eggs that have already been scrambled. You can either strain it out and try with a new batch of eggs, or you can kind of embrace the fact that it's now more of an egg drop soup. It's still gonna be delicious, just a different texture. Which honestly, I've done countless times before when I've been a little too lackadaisical when I'm tempering the eggs. and it's still good. Here's a warning. The most common mistake when tempering eggs is adding it back to the pot. A lot of the times people will keep simmering the soup at a high heat once everything is added back in, and this will actually ruin the texture of the tempered eggs and will no longer be so smooth. So once you add the eggs back in, you see it thicken, turn off the heat and serve it immediately. Now let's try. This is literally my favorite soup in the whole entire world. Check out the recipe in the caption and make sure to hit that like and follow for more cooking tutorials and recipes. That's a winner.